Now, these movies are not perfect. Now, some of them are okay, a few are bad, but most of them are good, but some of them are pretty damn good. And the most important thing is, unlike the live-action Disney movies, these movies have very different storytelling than in the comics. You know, Injustice is okay. The film is mostly... Now, these movies are not perfect. It's just some are okay, there are some that are bad, but most are really good. Some of them are pretty damn good. And the most important thing is, unlike a lot of the Disney live-action remakes, rarely will there be a straight-up remake from the comics into the movie. Now, Injustice, that movie is okay. It's just that most of the plot is very similar to the movie. There are a few changes, but that does not speak for most of the DC animated films, especially in the DC AMU. It has a lot of changes from the comics. Not all the changes are good, but most of them are. Rarely will I notice an unlikable character or parts of the plot that didn't make sense. Oh, but trust me, I'll be getting to one of the bad movies in another video. But right now, I want to get to the good examples of how great animated DC is. One of those movies is Batman vs. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And no, this is not a child's film. I can really expect you to think that based on the title. And usually, the DC stuff that's aimed at kids is the bad ones. Well, outside of the ones from Batman the Animated Series. That means we are finally getting animated products that are not a comedy and actually have great animation. The action sequences are very well choreographed, especially with Shredder and Batman's first fight. So what are the changes from the comic and the movies? Well, they added in a new final fight. They removed Splinter, Casey, and April. They put the Turtles and Batman into the same universe. And we can accept that the Turtles not knowing Batman beforehand because they live in a goddamn sewer. Donatello thought that Batman was just an urban legend. They thought it was just a bat monster. They didn't know it was a superhero. The villains in this movie have a different plan and work together more. Well, actually, they get to see more of Ra's al Ghul than we did in the comics. We do not get the heart-to-heart between Damian and Batman, and we do get a heart-to-heart with Raph and Batman, but it's for a different reason, and I will get to that scene in the very end. Not the very end, but close to the end. Also, this movie is pretty damn funny. It's, like, funnier than the comics, but some of the jokes are from the comics. These changes both don't make the product unlikable. Maybe it's less liked than the comics. I do like the comic more than this movie. But these changes are, like, giving it a reason to exist. Well, Disney live-action remakes either change nothing, which would make it pointless, or change what makes the story and the characters likable. Even characters who barely show up, like Commissioner Gordon and Penguin, give you something memorable to look at. Now, this is my favorite version of Michelangelo. He has a lovable, optimistic energy, but never gets annoying. His jokes really do work. Now, not all of them are funny all the time, but anytime he falls down, he gets right back to his feet. You know, he stumbles but never falls. Now, this isn't the best Batman. Even the voice acting is just okay for Batman. But they never changed the magic and the heart that makes Batman a likable character. The rest of the protagonists are very likable, but aren't the greatest that I've seen of them. Even if this Damian Wayne is more mellowed out than the others. But I love the Arkham villains. While I do like Ra's al Ghul and Shredder, they just don't pop out like the villains in the Arkham scene. Because Shredder and Ra's al Ghul's plan is to mix the ICRT mutagen with Joker's venom. They go into Arkham to get a recipe for the venom. Then they do not pop out like the villains in Arkham do. Now, the Ra's al Ghul's and Shredder's plan is to get Joker's venom so that they can mix it with the TCRI mutagen. You know, the mutagen that transformed the Turtles into the Ninja Turtles. Now, the thing is, they paid Joker with that mutagen, and then they mixed that mutagen with the villains. Yeah, this movie is going to connect with Batman fans even more than it would TMNT fans. I mean, the only character they bring up outside of Shredder and some of his ninjas, they bring in Baxter Stockman. Like, yes, he's fun in the comics, but come on. But he does have a lot of funny moments. It's not bad, but it's just something I noticed. Now, here's the thing. These turtles are acting like turtles. I know, that's surprising. TMNT actually utilizing the turtles as turtles? That's crazy. You don't usually see that. There's a lot of funny moments when they retract into their shell. these guys are able to hold their breath for very long, which gets them to the Batcave. And when Bane is fighting Donatello, he tries to break his back like he did to Batman. But the thing is, his shell broke his knee. And then there's this Act 2 breakup, which is actually bad. And it's like, Raphael is saying shit like, hey, I'm just like you, Batman. I'll be on rooftops brooding about how I'm the only one that can save the city. And it's like, at no point in this movie had you been watching Batman brood over the city saying that he's the only one that can save it. Like, at no point did you see that. And then he tries to pull in this family bullshit, but y'all just met. I know that a stupid car franchise has popularized this idea that you can only meet for a short amount of time and then be considered family, but that's not how that works. But it doesn't change an overall great movie. I give it a 5 out of 5. It has great animation, great comedy. It does have a more mellowed Damian Wayne, but it shows that Batman's methods are working. Every character has great energy. They all gel well together.